First of all, we want to thank you for the invitation. We are very happy to be here. This is, like Matthias already said, this is Richard and I'm Matthias Nell. And we want to talk with you about Agile development and how we use APEX at Deutsche Bahn. So, therefore, we got a little agenda for you. First of all, we want to start with a little commercial break, and we hope you won't switch the channel. After that, we want to say about our focus in our projects and the way we do our projects. And as a little bonus, we got a little insight in our database architecture for you. So then let's start. On this picture, you can see an idyllic, typical German landscape. You have some mountains in the background, a small village, and you have in the middle this train. So my first question to you, who ever saw this train or some of these trains before? Just a few. And yeah, who ever take this train before? That's good. And providing these trains and the infrastructure for it, that is the core business of Deutsche Bahn. And the thing not everybody knows is that the Deutsche Bahn is the second largest logistics company in the world too, next to the DHL. And the Deutsche Bahn has over 500 subsidiaries, and one of these subsidiaries is the DB Systel, the IT service provider where we are come from. And in the DB Systel we have there's our department, which is called Small Solutions, and we are 20 employees and serve external partners, and all of us develop applications with Oracle Application Express. And in the time, we create more than 300 applications for over 120 customers from more than 35 subsidiaries out of the group. So, and like other large groups, the Deutsche Bahn had some problems, typical problems. We have historically grown structures and we have lengthy processes, which means for us the coordination between the involved parties is very hard because every subsidiary and business area have their own goals they want to achieve. Then we have the liberalization of the railway sector out from the EU. This means for us we got more competitors on the rail. And a problem, especially from our company, the DB Systel, was that we had no focus on small projects. We only had the long-standing know-how in middle and large projects. And out of these, the business areas got their one's own initiative and built similar solutions, many solutions for similar problems. And that wasn't good. And on top of all these problems, you have the thing that the system rail isn't a complex system, and you can't use standard software without any adjustment. And that leads to that phenomenon, these things which are not fit in this concept wasn't considered by our company, the DB Systel. So our management decided 6 years ago to found our department, and we have a hard focus on non-critical topics which are based on simple processes, and now we are creating applications over this, and we started with some constraints. For example, we said a project scope has to be at maximum 100 days of the development time. And we said we don't want to use active interfaces so that we can keep it simple. And after a while, we feel very comfortable with this situation. And now we said, these constraints aren't so hard anymore. But there's one big constraint we also got. So when the customers comes to us, we're thinking about, can we resolve or do this requirements with APEX? And if we can't do it, we say, we have to find another solution in our group, in our company, to find the best solution for us, but we can't do it. So APEX is not one solution out of a bunch, it's this solution for our department. And all the things we have in mind that we want to build applications with a good price value ratio for our customers. And to do this, we have a foundation. We have standardization, reusability, we want to increase the maintainability, and we have a motto, quality by transparency. So what does it mean? In the standardization, we have an own simple rule, the 95.5 rule, which means for us that we want to use the standard APEX components and avoid individual code. And we have standardized documents, for example, for the requirement analysis and the cost estimation. Then we build a package application that contains our corporate design. So all our applications look the same in the first way. And on top, we got a standardized database architecture, but therefore we come later back. And we have the reusability. We want to combine our know-how from the different subsidiaries, from the different projects to the best result for our customers. And if we recognize that many customers have same and typical problems, we want to build products for it. For example, the customers come to us and say, oh, I want to have a survey, I want to ask my employees something about XY. And so we said we built our own survey application where the customers can, in a safe way, build applications. Like you know it on the internet, for example, the Survey Monkey. And on the third, we want to increase maintainability, and this is very important for us. And this is, like I said, we want to use the declarative development way of APEX. So avoid individual code, avoid plugins, only try to use the thing APEX gives us. And so we are very happy if the APEX team release new things, for example, with 5.1, the interactive grid. It's very good for us because we can say to customers, oh, we have something new, maybe try this, and the customer will be very happy. At least we got a quality by transparency. That means for us the customer is not only the customer, he's part of the team. We build together within the application and don't go anytime, go anywhere, develop the application, come back and say, here's the result, take it or leave it. That's not our way. So, and to do this, we built our own standard. Like I said, we built an own application template, and this contains the corporate design, the design of the universal theme with our corporate style, and some basic features in it. For example, we built our own authorization, not use the APEX authorization. We got a notification function for the users, which which the administrator can give notifications to the users. Also, we integrate a simple single sign-on solution for us. We only have to switch the authorization scheme, and it's all ready for us as a developer. No stress and very easy. Then we got an own page authorization, and in a declarative way, we can give rights to the user roles on the navigation and the pages. So we don't need any code as a developer. And we got a link already in our applications. We only need to give a grant to implement Jasper connection on the Jasper report server to give to create PDF exports to our customers. And we have a Lotus Notes web service integration. We don't use the APEX standard because the Lotus Notes integration, we send encrypted emails in our company. And at least we got an import tool, and with that we can build decorative configuration or decorative imports of structured CVS files and TXT files. And that's a standard, and now Richard will something to say about our process model.
Thank you, Matthias. So what you have seen so far is what our foundation looks like and what the tools are that we use. So very important, of course, but that's not everything you have to do. So you want to conduct some projects to actually develop some applications. And for this purpose, we developed some kind of process, which you can see here. And what I really love about this process is its simplicity. So very few steps, very simple steps, and very few restrictions for the customer and also for us. And this already starts at the beginning. So the first step, the customer has to formulate a request and tell us that he has a problem that we should solve. And in this step, he has all the possibilities for doing that. So he can, for example, write a mail. We have a standardized mail inbox, so he can write a mail to. He can also go to his customer management, so that's the standard way, and the customer management then writes a mail to us. And he even can go to one of the team members that you already know, and then the team member shares this request with the rest of the team. So many possibilities, everything what you can imagine, very simple for the customer. No matter how the customer has told us that he has a problem, the request is shared with the whole team. This is done because then one team member can decide, yeah, I have a little bit of time, I have now an hour, I will call the customer, saying we had gotten an email from you or a call from you, and we want to help you. And by doing this, we can ensure that we have very short reaction time. So we can react within 1 or 2 days already when the customer has sent our request, the request to us, which is really nice, I think. In the next step, we have made some appointment for the initial interview. And this initial interview is so 1 or 2 hour meeting with the customer, and it has 3 goals. So first of all, we have to check whether the customer wants to work with us. So this isn't true in all cases. So he has some restrictions how he wants to work, and we have some special kind of work of doing things. So we have to check this first, and therefore we introduce ourselves, tell the customer how we work, and that we do things with APEX and so on. And then the customer can decide, yeah, that sounds nice, I want to work with you. Then we, of course, have to check whether we can actually can solve the problem. So we have some constraints, as Matthias already said, and we can't do everything. So this is the next step, also in the initial interview. But if everything is all right, we could solve the problem, and we can solve the problem, and also the customer wants to work with us, we can actually start with the requirements engineering. And this is also done in the initial interview. So we ask some basic questions: what are the requirements? Extract all the requirements, find out which features we have to develop, and all this in the first initial interview. For this purpose, we have this protocol of the initial interview, which Matthias already mentioned. So, simple Word document, which gives us a framework for all the questions we have to ask, so that we don't forget anything, and also provides us a framework for documenting the knowledge we derive from the interview. With all of this, we go back, and then we can do a cost estimate. And there also we have one standardized tool. This is actually an Excel sheet. And this Excel sheet provides us already predefined things for things that we have to do in every project. For example, we have to do some project management in every project. We have to do some deployment. We have to do some testing. And all of this is already covered by the Excel sheet. And we don't have to think anymore about how expensive are these steps. And the Excel sheet also gives us some hints what we have actually estimate actually. So we have to do some estimation for the data model. We have to develop some formula mass and also the application logic. So and the Excel sheet also provides us a framework so that we don't forget anything. And the estimation itself is then done by the team member who also conducted the initial interview, and he then writes some numbers for all the features which have to be developed. But this is of course not so reliable because it's only one person, and it's all based on the experience of only the one person. And so to ensure that everything is reasonable what he says, the whole cost estimate has to be discussed with another team member. So we have 2 team members discussing everything, and at the end everything is reasonable. And actually it's so good that almost all cost estimations are so good that when no budget is left anymore, the application is also completely finished. This cost estimate is then sent to the customer. The customer can then decide whether he wants to work with us or it's too expensive. But probably he will say, wow, how can you be so cheap actually? And he then says, yeah, I want to work with you, sounds very good, and we start with the implementation. For the implementation, we start developing for 1 or 2 weeks only on ourselves, so without any contact to the customer, so that we can basically you start with the development of the basic functions and already develop some kind of application, some kind of prototype, so that the customer can have a look at it and can have an idea how it will look at the end and whether everything looks nice. After this 1 or 2 weeks, we give access to the customer, access to the application to the customer, so that the customer can look at the application every day or every moment he wants to. This is done because we want to ensure that we get as much feedback as possible. So the customer can really look every day, every single moment in the application and give us feedback directly. But of course, this is not enough. We have to talk also to the customer to get some more feedback. And there are also no restrictions. So the customer, some customers want to talk to us every day. So they call us every single day, which is nice for us. You pay for it, so everything is nice. Other customers also want to meet with us every week or so, and other customers want to do huge workshops every month or so. So everything is possible, the customer decides, and we adapt on the needs of the customer. Of course, we give some hints what is better in the one or another situation for the specific problem, but in the end, the customer decides what he wants. When everything is developed, every features are there, then we have to do, of course, some testing. And there's some special thing in our department. So we thought about who could do the testing the best. So, and we came up with the solution. The customer knows how the application should look like in the end. He knows which features have to be developed and how he actually uses all these features. And therefore, we stated the customers should be responsible for all the testing in the end. And so the customer does the final tests. Of course, we also do some developer tests to ensure that there are no bugs or so, but to decide whether all features are there and all features work how they should like, the customer is responsible. If he says everything is all right in the end, then we can go live actually. And for this purpose, the customer has to order product development, a new database, and then he gives us the connection data to this database, so we can do the deployment with it. I think this is also some special thing, and this enables us to do hotfixes. So we have the connection data then, and from time to time, the customer then decides, yeah, this button is now blue, but it has to be red actually. So could you please make it red? And instead of waiting for the next release, we can directly change the color of this button in the product environment, which is quite nice, I think, and saves us a lot of time, also the customer a lot of cost. Okay, and then basically the project has ended, and the customer is hopefully satisfied with all of this, and we can go to the next project. Okay, so that was everything you have to know about us, so how we work, and how you basically can copy our work and be as successful as we are. But I want to share a little bit more with you. So, of course, we went through some development in the last couple of years, through some evolution, and I want to share it with you. So, the beginning was in 2011, and there were a bunch of guys which had really nothing. So we didn't have some idea how it should look like in the end. We didn't have the APEX idea. We didn't have anything. We just had one goal, a goal that stated we want to provide simple, inexpensive, and high-quality applications to our customers. And to achieve this, we first thought about how can we achieve this. We need some kind of process, and it should be very simple, and there shouldn't be any waste at all. So we came up with the process, which I showed you before. And actually, this is the same process now and back then. Afterwards, we have to implement something, of course. So we do have to make some development. And there we again thought about some things. So every application has many things in common. So every application has a basic layout, which somehow reflects the corporate identity. Every application has some kind of user administration. So why should we always develop these things again and again? That's just a waste of time. So we started to build the first application, which basically covers these two things. And here you can see it. Not really beautiful, so you can see we didn't have any experience in user experience, but it helped us a lot, and we could save a lot of time with this application template. 1 year later, APEX 4.2 came out, and we wanted to adapt APEX 4.2 as soon as possible. So this is not done just we have an APEX 4.1 application and now we have APEX 4.2, but we have to look at the APEX 4 application, 4.1 application, whether it works also on APEX 4.2. So we had to look at our application template again, and we thought about, yeah, it doesn't look nice. We have to do to make some improvement on this, and we rebuilt our application template, and it looked like this after that, which I think is a little bit more nicer, better contrast. So we learned a little bit about user experience, not so much, but I think it looked quite nice for this moment. Actually, we were quite happy with this, so we used this application template for 3 or 4 years, and but enriched it with some new features. So in the next couple of years, we learned a lot about technology. So we learned how to integrate, for example, single sign-on, and how to implement some load-slow mail web service, and so on. So many features which we learned how to develop them, and what we have done is to integrate all these features into our application template, so that we can reuse it in every single project instead of rebuilding it for every application. One thing stands out a little bit. This is the import tool. So the import tool is basically also just a bunch of packages, tables, and functions. But we started like this. But to configure actual imports, you had to do some code writing. So you had to configure the whole import in pure SQL writing. And this is okay. This can be fast. But everyone writes code a little bit different, and so it's a little bit more difficult to read actual code. And because what does APEX does? So APEX actually is also just a bunch of packages, tables, views, and so on. And they provided us an interface, so basically an actual APEX application where you can declaratively create new applications, and very simple. So you don't have to do this coding anymore. And we wanted to adapt this, and so we built also an application for this import tool. And now we can declaratively configure new imports in our application. So very simple for us. But we thought about this a little bit further. In 2013 and 2014, we had to develop some things again and again. So for example, in a special surveys were a topic. Many people wanted surveys, many departments, because they couldn't use things like SurveyMonkey because we have some corporate constraints, and so we should build surveys for them. But we built so many surveys, and it was really boring. So surveys are just a bunch of pages, all equipped with 4 or 5 page items, and so simple, nothing coding, and so boring. We didn't want to do this anymore. So we thought about what have we done with our import tool. So we provided an application. Why don't we provide a simple application where we can configure declaratively also surveys? And so we built such an application. And now we can very simply configure new surveys and create new surveys. But it wasn't enough that we could do that. Because it was so simple, why don't we enable our customers to also do this? So we made some changes, made it a little bit more customer-friendly, not so programmers-like. So we didn't have to do any coding at all. And then we provided the survey tool to our customers, and they are happy about this, which was quite a huge step we made there. And we did this for some other products, and in the next couple of years, so in 2013, 2014, 2015, we learned a lot, and all of this we integrated somehow in our standards, in our application template, and so on. And now we have one application template for APEX 5.0, which we developed 2 years ago, and we also adapted them to APEX 5.1. And this application template I want to show you in this moment. 1 second. Hope you will see. Okay. So we presented all this stuff also in yesterday, and Shakib looked at this presentation and told us, why don't you use APEX 5.1? And now, for you, Shakib, APEX 5.1. So this is basically the beginning of all our projects. So we have an empty workspace, nothing there yet, and we want to create a new application. So what we have to do is to import our application template. So there it is. Next. Nothing to do here. And next we can choose an application ID, but there's nothing special about this. We don't need a specific application ID. So we install this application. And while this application installs, I want to show you a little bit more. So we have to also install the data model and the data. So we have to need some kind of data model. I won't install it now, but I want to show you there's a file for the data model. So quite a bunch of rows, and also a file for the actual data. So also some data, not that much, but we need it. Okay, so the application is installed, and we can run the application. And now you see it's in German, but actually here it says you have no access to the application. So this is because we already enabled single sign-on, and I don't have a user. It's a new project. So I go back and activate the basic normal authentication scheme. So share components, authentication scheme, and we have already an authentication scheme for this purpose as well. So make it as a current authentication scheme. And when we go back there, you see login mask. So very simple. So I see here Referenzprogramm UT, but this is our basic application name. We want to have a new name, so I change the name first. Go back to the application, in the application properties, and I say the application should now be called SWEOUG. Fine. So start the application, and now you see SWEOUG. So very simple. What you also see on this screen is some information about our department, so they can contact us, and a contact person for this specific application. So here it says small solutions, but this is also our placeholder for this contact person. So now I log in. Yeah, I made a typo. Okay. So this is the start homepage. So nothing special about this, but here's where the magic happens. So first of all, I want to reactivate single sign-on, so I have to create a new user for me. So Richard Beep, and the search showed me this user, so this is me. I can use this. There's all information about me already filled in, and I want to be an administrator, and now I create this user. So when I now go back to the authentication scheme to single sign-on, this can here, single sign-on is activated, there's my name, and I'm logged in. So very simple. Okay, what you can see here also is some kind of properties. So the contact person, for example, it was small solutions. I want to change it to some decoding problem here. Nothing to worry about. Have to restart the application, and now I see there's my name. So this can also be done by the customer. What's also there is this notification function, which Matthias already mentioned. So I can here simply create new notifications. So let's say I'm in Finland. No, I'm in Sweden today. Yeah, a little bit tired. Night was long. So, okay, today is this. And I can't have anyone who needs help at this moment. Okay, great. And when I log in again, I will see this notification. Here it is. I'm in Sweden and I can't have anyone. So here can I decide whether I want it should be shown again and the next login. So when I don't mark this as seen, it will be shown again. When I log in again, so here. And when I mark it as seen, no notification anymore. Okay. There's a little bit more. So user roles, for example, you can see here. One feature I want to show you. A bit more feature. So we have here help text. So this is basically a view of all the pages in the application. So it is provided by APEX itself. And here we have all the applications. And we can go through this. And down in the bottom, you see this is the main page. This is the text of the main page. And now I can add in help text. So this is my help text. Okay, great. And when I now go to the main page, I see this small help icon. And I see here, this is my help text. So very simple also for the customer to create help text by himself. There's a little bit more in this application template, but that was were the main features. I want to leave a question like this.
Yeah, there's a question.
Hello.
Hi.
I've got a quick question regarding your help text. Can you link that to any item on the page?
No, this is basically all only for the pages by themselves.
For all the page?
For all the pages.
Right.
For the whole page, yeah. So we have only this icon here, help page, and so for the whole page. We didn't have developed some kind for the page items.
Right. Because that's what I'm looking for, a dynamic way how to allow the end user to modify the help text on for any of the items on the page.
Yeah, that's a nice feature.
If anybody else is doing that, give me a shout.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's it. And we can go back to the presentation.
Yeah, that's it.
So, that was the demo. Thank you, Richard. Now, let us give you a little summarize of that we are talking about. So, first of all, we want to use the APEX standard with this declarative way to develop, to create applications. We think it's the best thing you can use because it's increased the maintainability. It's easy for you to get new people in it, only to get the people to know the subject matter knowledge and not the technique behind. That's our foundation. Based on it, out of it or on top, we build our own standard with the ready for usage integration of some basic features and interfaces and on. And yeah, if some customers have some requirements we can't use or we can't resolve with that standard, we are we use the opportunities which APEX gives us too. For example, write own PL/SQL code, jQuery, and all the other things we are thinking it's not the best solution for because the things we are already said. And yeah, that's all of our work. And like we said, we have a little insight in our database architecture because we recognized that there was many questions after some presentations. So it's very easy. We have this Oracle 12c environment and use the multi-tenant functionality of it. So we have the Oracle DB based here, and we the client that talks through an Apache and Tomcat with ORDS on it. And yeah, like I already said, we use the multi-tenant strategy. So we have the container database on top. I think we got 5 or 4 of them with different versions of APEX and the quotation code. And then we have the PDBs here down on it for the different applications which are here. I think that's all from our side. And now we want to talk with you about the things we are having. Maybe you have some experience and you want to share with us, and we're happy to hear your questions. Are there any questions?
How do we deal with the versioning of code?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's a question we ask ourselves quite often. We don't have some real versioning of our code. So this is basically not so necessary in our projects because most of our projects are done by one person. So this one person knows his code and can change its code by itself. So we don't have to merge some code or something. But we want also some solutions.
But you use APEX export.
Sorry?
APEX export at night.
Yeah. Not at night, but we export
daily.
Then and now, so when we need it. Yeah. But this is a good question.
But I think it's not. My experience is it's not for APEX applications.
Yeah, we think also for the small applications, but when we have also one application which which already has consumed about 1,000 days, so quite a large application, and there you have to think about such things like versioning. Okay, other questions?
Now let's talk about work versions. Do you have your you have clients that are running different APEX versions, like version 4 and version 5, or I'm thinking more in terms of your template, for example. If you have your template application in a certain APEX version, what do you do if you have to maintain a template in version 4 and version 5?
Yeah, that's an interesting question because some of our customers also got this web template from the first version, and they are still in production. They are now not on the 4.1 or 4.0. They are now, I think, on the 5.0. We migrate them, but not the UI, only the functions, and we check up if they are really working. And if they're not working, we say, okay, then we have to fix it on our coast. But yeah, with the standardization, I already said, and avoid individual programming and all this stuff. It's not that much things you have to organize for the migration to new versions.
I have one comment. I don't know if you can answer it, but in version 4.2, there was a very nice feature that if you have comments on the columns in the database, the APEX automatically took those comments and made them as help texts on each column on the screen in the application, and that feature just disappeared. And it would be nice to have it back because it's a very good feature.
I think
I
guys
think
in the background can say that user default. Is that UI default what you're talking about?
What?
Is that UI default what you're talking about? To have,
So there is this feature UI default which you can have on the table, and then you can provide help text, column names, and even data, even item parts for forms to a limited extent. That is within UI default, and that should still be available today.
No, and it's not that. It's that on each column you can add help text in the application.
On the table.
On
Table
Column.
each object on the screen, there is a possibility to add help text in APEX.
But you're saying it came from the table.
Yes, it came from
the table comment and the
table comment automatically moved over to the APEX application. And if you have 1,000 columns in an APEX application, it automatically takes the comment from the database in 4.2, but that doesn't seem to work anymore.
I need to look into this. Let's take this offline. I need to look into this.
Okay. Some other questions?
I'm interested in knowing what did you use for your single sign-on?
SAML. So SAML implementation. There's also a presentation which was held by a colleague of us this May in Germany. So it's available online if you want to have a look at it. You can come to us and we can send it also to you.
Okay. Yes?
Do you use any automated test tools for testing your APEX front end?
No, we have this credo, that motto that the customer has to test his application. So if we create it to the production environment, for example, we do a short test if the functions will work, but the specific test on all the things have to do the customer, because we said he knows the applications and the features at best more than us.
So we thought about using testing tools. For developer tests, we use the APEX Advisor, which is a nice tool, of course. But the real testing tool, we looked at one or two. I can't name them, but they didn't work for us for our way of working.
So you just do it manually and use the advisor.
Yeah.
Okay. And sorry, you did mention it in your presentation, but I couldn't quite hear it. How do you differentiate between the UAT environment or development environment and the production environment? So when the user's, doing some work, they're not in the wrong environment. How do you visually sort of represent that?
First of all, we have only two environments, so development environment and the productive environment. So the user tests in the development environment, it looks at the development environment. We just, this depending on every project, everyone does this in a different way. So some of them make a huge red box there, it states development environment, other do some, that depends on the customer, how he works and what his experience is. So simple things, basically.
Right. So is that built into the template, or is it just something you do?
Nothing in template. So we want to use this template, and in the first step, there is no productive environment. So in the first step, we can then use the application template of the development environment and deploy it directly to the productive environment without it changing anything. So this is because we don't do this. So we don't integrate this in
Okay.
Yes. How do you organize APEX in a container-based database? Is it once per PDB or?
Yeah, in every PDB there's an APEX instance. Yeah, exactly. So the container database doesn't state which APEX version is on all these packable databases. So every PDB can have different application APEX version. Yeah.
Okay. Then thank you.
Thank you.